Have you ever found yourself scrolling through a newsfeed, feeling like you're caught in a strange digital time warp? You see the same handful of stories, rehashed, reshared, and constantly bubbling to the top, even when new, potentially fascinating information is lurking just beneath the surface. It's a phenomenon that plagues many online platforms. But today, we're diving deep into its specific manifestation on one of the internet's most influential tech hubs, Hacker News. We're talking about what's known as the discovery loop, a powerful, often invisible mechanism that dictates what we see, what gets attention, and ultimately, what shapes our perception of the tech world and beyond. If you've ever wondered why certain articles seem to live on the Hacker News front page for an eternity, or why specific narratives dominate the discussion, you're about to unlock the secret behind the loop. Get ready to understand how this algorithmically driven cycle works, its profound implications, and how you, as a user, are an integral part of its engine. This isn't just about Hacker News. It's about the very fabric of online information discovery in the modern age. For those unfamiliar, Hacker News, or HN as it's often called, is a social news website focusing on computer science and entrepreneurship, operated by Y Combinator, a prominent startup accelerator. It's a watering hole for developers, founders, tech enthusiasts, and anyone interested in the cutting edge of innovation. Unlike mainstream news sites, HN relies almost entirely on user submissions and upvotes to determine its content. It prides itself on fostering intelligent discussion and curating high-quality articles, free from clickbait and superficiality. The front page is a coveted spot, a digital beacon that can catapult a nascent startup into the spotlight or bring a critical issue to the attention of thousands of influential minds. But getting there, and staying there, is where the discovery loop truly comes into play. At its core, the discovery loop is a self-reinforcing feedback mechanism that amplifies the visibility and engagement of content that has already demonstrated some initial traction. Imagine a snowball rolling down a hill. It starts small, but with each revolution, it picks up more snow, growing larger and gaining momentum. The discovery loop works similarly. A story gets submitted, garners a few early upvotes and comments, which signals to the algorithm that it might be interesting. This initial positive signal pushes it higher up the ranking. Higher ranking means more visibility to a larger audience. More visibility naturally leads to more eyes on the content, more upvotes, more comments, and critically, more shares and discussions across other platforms. This increased engagement then feeds back into the algorithm, reinforcing its initial decision, and further solidifying the story's position on the front page. Sometimes for hours, or even days. It's a positive feedback loop where popularity begets more popularity. Let's dissect the anatomy of this loop in more detail. It all begins with a user submitting a link to an article, a research paper, or a personal blog post. These submissions initially reside in the new queue, a dynamic stream of fresh content. The critical early hours are paramount, as a small, dedicated group of early adopters, often loyal HN users who frequent the new tab, act as initial gatekeepers. Their upvotes are disproportionately powerful in determining a story's initial trajectory. If a story quickly accrues a handful of upvotes from these early reviewers, the Hacker News ranking algorithm, a closely guarded secret but understood to prioritize recent activity and a strong upvote to time ratio, takes keen notice. Once a story gains sufficient initial momentum, it might graduate directly to the hallowed front page. Landing on the front page is like hitting the jackpot. Suddenly, hundreds of thousands of users are exposed to the story, leading to a direct surge of new upvotes and, critically, a flood of comments. The comments section on Hacker News is a vibrant, often intense, forum for discussion, debate, and further analysis. A story with a lively comment thread signals to the algorithm that it's not just popular, but genuinely engaging and thought-provoking, extending its perceived value. This increased engagement, more upvotes, more comments, more clicks, further boosts the story's algorithmic score, often extending its lifespan on the front page, sometimes for many hours, or even days. It might even trigger a rediscovery if it was previously pushed down the ranks. Beyond HN itself, popular stories are frequently shared on Twitter, Reddit, LinkedIn, and other tech forums, bringing external traffic back to Hacker News. This external validation again reinforces its perceived importance and keeps it within the algorithmic eye. It's a continuous churn, where a story's past success becomes a powerful predictor and a relentless driver of its future success, allowing genuinely compelling content, once it clears initial hurdles, to maintain high visibility for an extended period, often overshadowing newer, equally valuable submissions that didn't catch that initial spark. Now, it's not all doom and gloom or algorithmic manipulation. The discovery loop, in its ideal form, serves several vital functions that benefit the community. Firstly, it acts as a highly effective filter. In a world drowning in information overload, HN's loop helps surface genuinely high quality, relevant, and impactful content. The collective intelligence of the community, through their upvotes, often identifies articles that resonate, offer deep insights, or spark meaningful conversations. This can lead to the widespread dissemination of crucial technical developments, important industry news, or innovative startup ideas that might otherwise get lost in the noise. Secondly, it fosters a strong sense of community and shared focus. When a story stays on the front page, it allows for extended, in-depth discussions. This sustained visibility means more people have the opportunity to weigh in, contribute diverse perspectives, and engage in thoughtful debate. It builds a collective understanding around complex topics. Think of it as a town square where the most pressing issues remain on the bulletin board long enough for everyone to see and discuss. For authors and creators, having their work caught in a positive discovery loop on Hacker News can be a